Today we have two very different F-150s, and in this video we're going to tell you everything you need to know about modifying your truck suspension to tell you, is it really worth it? We're also going to cover what suspension modifications are right for you. In this video, we're going to cover in detail what kit is on this truck versus all of the other options that are on the market. We're even going to go through the trailer towing and the miles per gallon you're going to be getting on both of these trucks, and that is coming up on TC Customs. Before we jump into the video though, I need to let you know TC Customs is your place for all kinds of modification parts for your Ford vehicle. Whether it's a lift kit, lowering kit, and everything in between, check out TCcustoms.com to pick out your customization parts today. Let's start off with this Reggie right here. By the way, if you didn't know, a Reggie is my slang term for a regular cab, short wheelbase F-150. This is a very limited production vehicle, believe it or not. Ford Motor Company cannot build all of these that they want to for a lot of different reasons. We're not going to get into that in this video. But the first thing I want to cover is this is an XL trim level. And because it's an XL, you get a lot of things for 24 that you didn't get in the previous generation. You've got a new coast-to-coast grille. You've got new darkened headlights that you've got on this vehicle. You've also got the big LCD instrument cluster, lots of new upgrades for 24. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about the suspension, and I want to cover that. This particular kit is featured with a Belltech suspension kit. This particular kit is a coilover kit, but there's a lot of different brands that make great kits for lowering kits. Once again, this is Belltech. Another one of my personal favorites is going to be RideTech. Both of these suspension systems come with a great warranty no matter what you're looking to do. This one has a lifetime warranty on all of the hard components for this suspension system. And apparently RideTech has an even better warranty. So there's a lot of different options as far as the brand is considered for the lowering kit. Let's step over here and take a look at the lift kit. This is a BDS lift kit. This is a 4-inch spacer kit. And one of the things I love about the BDS lift kit is the fact that it simply has their 560 plus warranty, which basically mimics the 5-year 60 powertrain warranty on your factory vehicle. Well, BDS kind of picks it up and runs with that. So that way, if your local Ford dealer says, hey, this vehicle, the transmission is not going to be covered because of the lift kit, well, BDS would step in and take care of that just like they would on a 5-year 60 powertrain from the factory. So basically, it's just a little bit of an extra assurances. Another lift kit manufacturer that we absolutely love around here is Fabtech. I had that on my previous Bronco. Absolutely love that suspension system. They also have a 5-year 60 powertrain warranty that goes with it as well. For my next trick, I busted out the rusty, trusty tape measure to take a look and see exactly how tall both of these trucks are. For the first one, let's take a look at the lowered truck to see exactly how tall it is. It looks like we're busting in at around about a 73 1/4. Now let's take a look at the lifted truck, which is gonna be a good bit taller. You know, I am 6'3", but this truck is a good bit taller than me. It looks like it's probably floating around 83 1/4, somewhere in there. But yeah, a big truck. Big difference between the two trucks. And I guess that's the beautiful thing is you could even go with a 6-inch lift kit if this 4-inch wasn't big enough for you. Now let's talk about wheel and tire combinations. Both of these lift kits and lowering kits are gonna have recommended wheel and tire packages and sizes available on their website. But for reference purposes, this setup here on the lower truck has got a 20-inch wheel and it's wrapped around a set of Nitto NT 420V tires. These are specifically a 305/55 R20. Now you can fit any kind of a variation or some similar size. We have a lot of people wanting to go with 22s, some people want to go with 20s. Me personally, I love the fact that you've got a little extra sidewall on this 20-inch wheel. And if sidewall is your preference, you need to take a look at this one. This is a 37-inch tire that clears on a 4-inch BDS lift kit. How crazy is that? And it's wrapped around a 20-inch method wheel. The overall combination of this look is absolutely fantastic. I think this is the perfect height for this type of a truck. As I've already mentioned to you, I'm 6'3", and it's still a pretty big hike. Can you imagine doing a 37-inch tire with a 6-inch lift kit, another 2 inches? That would be crazy. I cannot wait to share with you the fuel economy of these two trucks. That's coming later in the video. But first, we need to talk about the pros and the cons of a lifted truck. And trust me, I've had numerous lifted trucks throughout my day, and I'm speaking from a place of experience. So a couple of the cons of a lifted truck. The first thing is going to be the roof clearance. You're not gonna have as much space if you park inside of a low parking deck in downtown your local city. So that's something to keep in mind. Another thing that you have to realize is you're gonna have a higher center of gravity. Now, it's a good thing that BDS and a lot of these lift kit manufacturers offer FMVSS 126 certifications. Basically means that the truck is certified to not disable your roll stability control, meaning that the truck is not gonna be nearly as likely to flip as a vehicle that has that completely turned off. Now, a couple of other downsides, which I think, and we're gonna verify this here in just a second, is the overall fuel economy. Obviously, I've got a lifted Bronco in 40s and it gets miles per gallon, not miles per gallon. Hopefully this will fare a whole lot better than my Bronco will. But those are the biggest downsides that you see of a lifted truck. Some of the biggest upsides that you're gonna find on a lifted truck, it looks cool. Obviously, the other couple of things that you wanna know is that a lifted truck can perform better off-road. A 37-inch tire is gonna do a lot better than a 33-inch tire. That's obvious. And lastly, I would argue that the ride quality of this lift kit might even be better than factory, especially because we're riding on a set of 37-inch tires. That's a lot of extra cushion. People don't realize that this part of the tire helps you with cushioning your ride. And as long as you go with a full-blown lift kit like this, where all the suspension geometry stays in OEM specification, you're not gonna notice much of a difference in the ride quality. The most important thing is making sure that you select the right tires. As far as the pros and cons of a lowered truck, they're pretty much the exact opposite of what you'd find on a lifted truck. Number one, you have a lower center of gravity because the whole truck is a lot lower. So it's great for taking corners at high speeds. It's also great if you're gonna be racing the truck. It's got a lot of benefits to it. Even with this setup, you can still make it over a speed bump, no questions, no concerns. It's more like driving a pickup truck that is also a sports car. And so I love that a lot. But what people don't realize is when you lower your truck, you've got this smaller tire. And thankfully with the 20-inch wheel, it's got a good, nice extra sidewall that helps you with a smoother ride. But I've driven a lot of these trucks on 22s, and because you've got just a very small sidewall, mixed in with a lowered suspension system, you can actually feel more of a rougher ride than you would in a big old lifted truck just like that one. And with that being said, I think it's talk a little bit more about the ride quality. And to do that, I want to actually show you what I mean by taking these things both for a ride. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to go over the ride quality, but we're also going to go in depth on exactly what you're looking at for the fuel economy between these two trucks. All right, so what we're doing is we're going to go ahead and fill up the truck itself. We're gonna fill it all the way up. We've got a loop lined up that is exactly 44 miles, or should be, based on GPS. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill each one of these trucks up all the way to the top. I'm gonna go through the loop, and there's gonna be a special stop halfway through that, so don't miss that. But once we get back to this very same location, we'll be able to tell exactly how many miles it was, and we'll also be able to tell exactly how many gallons were burned up. So let's go ahead and top it off. All right, so we've gotten the gas to stop. What we're gonna do is a 2-click method. So it stopped once, we're gonna do until it stops one more time. There we go. All right, so took 15.84 gallons, and believe it or not, the vehicle only had 84 miles left until empty. So let's go ahead and jump on that loop. One of the things I love about these regular cab trucks, man, they turn on a dime. That's the same reason that I love my Bronco as well, is because, I mean, that short wheelbase, it just makes it so nice to get in and out of situations. By the way, that's gonna be the same for the lifted truck as well as the lowered truck. I love the regular cab setup. If you can make it work with your family and your situation, it's pretty awesome. One thing you're also gonna notice that we're gonna run both of these tests at exactly 70 miles an hour on the cruise control to make sure that it's the exact same test for both vehicles. The other thing you're gonna notice is I've got the air conditioner on half blast, exactly halfway for both of these tests. And the only reason I don't have them off completely is because it's 101 degrees outside. I
said, oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
So not doing that, not today, Satan. Anyways. 39.3 miles. That is the exact distance of the entire loop. And now is really the telltale sign to see exactly how much gas we burned on that 39.3 mile loop. Just like last time, we're going to go until it clicks and then give it one more round. And we've burned 1.786 gallons over the course of that 39.3 miles, which turns out right at 22 miles per gallon on this lowered truck. Now let's go ahead and do the exact same thing in the big black truck. Now that we're done with that MPG loop, I want to give you my recap as to how this thing drives. Yes, the lower truck does have that lower and stiffer suspension, as well as that smaller sidewall. It definitely is a more aggressive of a ride quality than it would be from factory. But I really want to compare that to the lifted truck to see exactly what it does. As expected, the drivability of the lifted truck is significantly better than it was on the lower truck. And you'll notice that this is still a little bit more bumpy than something like a Super Crew. And I think that has to do with the overall wheelbase of the vehicle. A longer, heavier vehicle typically rides a lot better. Very similar to if you're into the boat scene, a heavier boat is going to basically soak up a lot of those bumps a whole lot better than a lighter one will. The moment of truth is here with the big black F-150. So let's get this thing filled back up and see exactly what the damage is on that 39.3 mile loop. So 2.006 gallons worth of fuel. So basically what that means is that this truck was able to get 19.56 miles per gallon on this setup, which is not that far off from the 22 miles per gallon we got on the lower truck. So you're telling me a lowered aerodynamic truck compared to this big lifted truck on 37s has only got 2.5 miles per gallon swing in fuel economy? That is not too bad at all. And now that we're back from that MPG loop, I've got a surprise for you guys. While we were out on that MPG loop, we decided we were gonna weigh both of these trucks to see exactly what they weigh and the comparisons between those two. Would you believe me if I told you that this big old truck is only 560 pounds more than this truck? That's kind of wild considering all of the other options are the exact same. So this particular vehicle was 4,320 pounds, and as you can see, the black truck was 4,880, which is pretty remarkable considering we're talking about 37-inch tires that are not light at all. But the reason I bring all of this up is because of towing capacities. What you don't realize, and I've had so many people ask me about lifting or lowering their vehicle, how does that affect my towing capability? Well, technically it doesn't affect the towing at all. And here's what I mean. When you take a vehicle and you lift it up, your maximum towing capacity, the maximum trailer weight, stays the exact same. But what you have to make sure of is that the gross combined weight rating, which is the weight of the truck, the fuel in it, the people in the vehicle, the trailer, everything, your entire rig cannot exceed a certain amount of weight. And when you have a little bit more weight in the wheels and the tires, that is effectively weight that you're not going to be able to put in the trailer of the vehicle. So that is how lifting or leveling or lowering your truck can affect your towing capacity, is you need to make sure you weigh it after the fact. And no matter what you do, make sure that your entire rig is less than the gross combined weight rating, as well as the maximum trailer weight has got to be less than what they recommend as well. So it's not that big of a deal to drive a lifted truck and to tow with it. You just have to make sure you're underneath those capacities. If you're interested in buying either one of these trucks, call the number on the screen. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day. Peace.